Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode. I hope everyone is doing alright. Hope you guys are healthy. Hope you guys are staying productive. Hope you guys are staying happy and everything. Stay motivated. So we're going to work on some stuff today. And what you can see here is that we've got the engine supported on this engine support bar. And I got this from Harbor Freight. It was probably like $70 with a coupon. After I get the motor mounts made and the turbo mocked up and everything, I'm going to return this because, we're in a recession and we got to build this car on a budget. So we're making motor mounts. I got this plate from Liquid Iron Industries. It's a company based in New Jersey. And I got this square tube. It's 1.5 inches, 120 thickness, and a plate on the bottom with a bolt welded on the other end. The bolt is a 12.9 grade bolt. It's the most brolic bolt I can find on McMaster car. Behind the bolt is this nylon nut. Oops, sorry. So yeah, that basically makes an engine mount. And previously, what I had done was I got the full kit with the bushings from Liquid Iron Industries. It's really nice. It's got a sleeve inside. This is that bolt welded to the plate I was talking about. This is the old setup. It's got these ears you can weld onto this plate. Right, you can get this plate in a 4-bolt configuration or a 5-bolt configuration depending on if you have an aluminum block or an iron block. Liquid Iron Industries offers both different styles of plates. So, but I this time around I opted just to get the more simple version, just the plate. So that's why I got a 2-foot length of that 1.5 inch square tube. And the reason I did this again, alright, so I measured with this angle finder, I measured the engine in many positions, this way, just to get the pinion angle set up. And I wanted the engine as low as possible. You can see the distance from the oil pan to the steering rack. Right, it's got about 1/4 inch right there, and the pan is just flush with the crossmember or the subframe. And also, I got about 1 inch of space between the head and the firewall. So if you take a look, the engine is pretty much behind, or the first cylinder is in line with the front axles. So it's the best I can do without cutting up the firewall. And that being said, this should theoretically give the car a lower center of gravity and a better balance. Plus, I'm moving the radiator to the back. Now, that means running these coolant lines through where the exhaust would normally go, or the way I had it previously, and that's gonna be an issue. So I think I'm gonna run the turbo up here also. I'm gonna get it as low as possible without affecting the oil drain too much. So it's gonna be slightly elevated just above the pan, right around here, and the exhaust is gonna go underneath the frame rail and out the front bumper. I'm gonna try to fit a muffler in there, but if not, it's alright, we'll just go straight pipe. The turbo's a muffler anyway, and these LS's aren't too loud, so I'm not too worried about that. But right now, as you can see, I already got the engine mounts welded up, bolted down and everything. Same on this side. This is done much more better and accurately than I did the first time. I'm not even sure if I had this engine even centered the first time around, and I don't know what the pinion angle was set at because I just basically eyeballed it. But now I've got this angle finder, and I measured the pinion angle with the rear differential, and I had made sure those are pretty much parallel. You want it like a parallelogram. If the differential is like this, the output shaft should also be like that. So, and it should be no greater than around like 2 degrees. For an independent rear suspension, it probably doesn't matter as much, but you should still align your engine with that in mind. Now, the turbo I have is an On3 7665 with a stainless steel exhaust housing, dual V-band. It's pretty nice, but some say it's a little small on the turbine side. So what is a really popular turbo is a 7875. So I think I'm going to upgrade to that, but the turbo is going to pretty much sit around here. If I can do this one-handed, I'm sorry guys. I'm going to place it right around here behind the intercooler. Remember, no radiator in the front, and the exhaust is going to go out the side like that. But yeah, I'm going to build the transmission mount, which I've started already. Let me climb under the car to show you. If you can see here, I installed the battle version steering rack bushings. They're solid as opposed to old worn out rubber, and this should give the steering feel a more direct positive feel. Alright, so here is part of the transmission mount. It's incomplete, but as you can see, I made 2 holes so you can access the bolt. This is some of that square tube, 1.5-inch square tube I had left over from the engine mounts. This side you can see the bolts, you can see the openings for the bolts, and there's the polyurethane. The reason why I didn't go with a solid rear transmission mount is because I've read on the forums that if you run a solid transmission mount, even with solid engine mounts, you can potentially crack this tail shaft housing. So no matter what you do, even if you get solid engine mounts, you still have to run a polyurethane transmission mount, and that is ideal. Some people have gotten away with it, but it could cause some issues, especially with like high horsepower, and if you get some driveline flex, especially in the bell housing, you could crack that. So yep, that's why I'm not taking any risks. Once I get some rectangular tube, I'm just going to build a piece that goes across, 2 bolt holes. Similar to this, I'm going to have the access holes and weld it up, and then we should be all set. It's just supported by a scissor jack right now. Got a scissor jack in place of over here just so I can center the output shaft and everything. Here's the differential. Yep, and then I got to get a custom drive shaft made, I believe. I don't think I can use the stock F-body drive shaft any longer because of the shortened distance between the diff and the transmission, because now I have the engine a little bit further back. That might not work. So, alright, I'm getting a little uncomfortable under here. Let me climb out. Yeah, working on jack stands kind of sucks. But that's what I've accomplished so far. As you can see, I've cut out the fender tubs, fender wells, whatever you call it. I really don't know. Yeah, it's going to be nice not to have a radiator up here, and I'm going to do a trunk mounted setup. The radiator is going to sit on the floor where that panel is, and I'm going to cut holes in the trunk lid. I've got a Lincoln Mark 8 fan over here, and it pulls about like 4,000 plus CFM, so that should suffice. And we will see. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick little update. I want you guys to stay motivated, stay healthy, be safe, and work on something.